my name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm focuses primarily on family law. So if you have any questions about that, you want to find out more information, please subscribe to our channel. We were asked to give a little information about the modification of a child custody order. When will the court do that? Well, you have to understand one thing. The court has a two-step process in modifying custody. So it's not just enough for you to say, well, dad has the custody, but he's not taking care of the kid or something like that. That's not going to result in your attorney filing a motion and the court saying, okay, here's the kid, now I'm giving him to you. The system doesn't work that way. The court is very, very careful, because it operates under best interest of the child theory, to handle custody matters very carefully, very deliberately. It doesn't change custody willy-nilly. It is respectful of the established custodial environment and tries to honor that, because it's all the schools of thought say that stability is the key in raising a healthy, well-adjusted child. Having said that, the court will engage in the following process if somebody wants to change custody. Number one, the court's going to conduct a hearing to determine, is there some reason to revisit the custody order? Now, at that hearing and with those motions filed, the court's not going to do a full-blown analysis at that point in time, nor do attorneys typically give all the reasons why they want custody changed in those initial proceedings. They don't do that because, sometimes you want to hold something back. You don't want to tip your hand. Many times when the court sets up evidentiary hearing, they're weeks down the road, and if you've given all your data, all your information, all your claims in your first filing, all you've done is show your hand to the other side and give them weeks to prepare for it. So that's not necessarily the best strategy. When attorneys put these together, they allege to the court that there's been a change in circumstances. They give some basics. They engage in oral argument to explain to the court where they're going, just so that they feel it's enough for the court to say, you know what, there's a concern here, we're going to revisit it. Now, just because the court determines that custody should be revisited does not mean they're going to change the custody. The court still has to go through all the factors to determine, is it in the best interest of the minor child to make the switch? And for that, the court might very well go through the dozen or so custody factors that it utilizes to determine what does best interest mean and how is best interest of the minor served by making the switch. The court could find that there is a problem, but the problem doesn't justify a switch. The problem justifies a different level of parenting time, maybe some parenting classes, maybe some other arrangement, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the court's going to take the drastic measure of switching custody. So I think it's important for you to understand it is a drastic measure when we switch custody, and therefore for small little things that come up that are more a question of parenting style than something that's really against the best interest of the child, those are things you probably should think long and hard about spending the time and effort to try and change custody, because the court will probably not see it your way. On the flip side, if you have something that's going on, the custodial parent became addicted to drugs, for example, or is now hanging out with known felons, or something that's really dangerous for the child, that's certainly the kind of thing where the court would be interested in hearing that. You should bring that to the court's attention through appropriate motion and go through that long process of potentially changing custody. It is a long process. It is time consuming. It is draining. It is expensive. It's all those things. But remember, when you're talking about changing custody, you're really talking about the need to protect the child. And certainly that's something that is worth going through all those things in order to accomplish that goal. If you have any questions about that, or that situation is before you, call immediately and we'll be happy to give you quick guidance in that regard.